All right, guys, we're going to start our project Google Slides today. So this is your Google Slides that you made a copy of last week. So if you ever need to access your document, it's in that same document where you copy and pasted your link last week. I will also link that on the checklist just in case you can't find it in your drive. But otherwise, it should also be in your drive for you. Okay, so the very first slide that we are all going to do is our first slide. So the easiest slide. So you're going to put your science fair topic title here, and then your name, your grade level, and then whoever your homeroom teacher is. If you want, you can change the background. You can add pictures just as long as they have to do with your topic. Like if you're doing a topic on dinosaurs, you don't want to add pictures of like dogs or anything like that. Just make sure if you add pictures, it has to do with your topic. You don't want to add any random pictures to your slideshow. Okay, but as long as they have to do with your topic, then you can add those pictures. Okay, so that's your first slide. Your next slide depends on what project you're doing. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at the experiment or investigation first. So if you're doing an experiment, this is going to be your next slide, and it's going to be the hypothesis. Okay, I'm also going to share this slide with you too. This is also in your journal that we did a couple weeks ago, but I'm going to share this with you again because I color coded it. So we are doing all of the things that are highlighted in pink today. Okay, so what you're doing if you're doing an experiment is you're coming up with a hypothesis. Okay, so it is your question of what you're wondering, and your hypothesis will be of what you think the outcome will be. So a hypothesis is kind of a fancy word for a prediction based on what you've done with your research. Okay, so you've done a little bit of research on your topic, so now you should be able to come up with an educated hypothesis or an educated guess on what should happen with your experiment. Okay, and it's okay if you're wrong, it's no big deal. It's just what you think based on your research so far. Okay, what you're also going to do is you're going to ask a question. Okay, so when you're doing the scientific method always starts when you ask a question. It's something that you're wondering about. Okay, it's also going to be something that you observe. Okay, so you're asking questions like how, what, when, who, which, why, or where. Okay. In order to answer the question, it must be about something that you can measure. Okay, so in your experiment, you should be measuring something, preferably with a number, and questions should be interesting, authentic, creative, and use scientific vocabulary. So really, you're just thinking of a question that you're wondering about, and it has to be something that you can test. Okay, and if it's not a number, that's okay. Okay. What you're also going to do is you're going to state your hypothesis, okay? So here's a good sentence starter for you here. It says, if I do this, then you fill in the blank with whatever your topic is, then this will happen, okay? So a hypothesis should be stated in a way that you can easily measure, and your hypothesis should be stated in a way that can help you answer your original question that you started with. So not only are you coming up with a hypothesis, you're also starting with a big question that you're wondering about. Okay, so if you're doing an experiment, that will be your slide that I'm going to be talking about today. Now, if you don't want to start with this slide for some reason, maybe you want to start with a different slide, that's totally fine. I'm just going to be giving you videos on directions for the first slides. I'm going to do them in order for you, okay? But you don't have to do your slides in order if you don't want to. I'm just going to give you those directions in this order, okay? I would recommend, though, if you are doing an experiment, I think a hypothesis is the perfect way to start your project, okay? This should probably be one of the first slides you do for sure, okay? So if you're doing a research project or a demonstration, your slide's going to look a little bit different. You're going to talk about the purpose, okay? So I'm going to go back to the slideshow because it gives me clear directions on what I need for the purpose. So again, everything's highlighted in pink. So you're thinking about what is the science concept you are demonstrating or even researching, okay? So you're going to talk about your topic. What are you researching? And then why did you choose that research topic? Okay, maybe you want to tell us why you're passionate about this topic. And then this should be short. It shouldn't be very long. It should be about 2 or 3 sentences. And again, you can always add pictures to your slides, but just make sure that your pictures have to do with your science experiment or research project that you're doing. Okay. So that is what you're going to do if you are doing a research project or demonstration. You don't have a lot to do today. So if you want, you can go back to your research and add more to your notes. Remember, if you guys are doing a research project, you're going to spend the most amount of time doing your research notes that we started yesterday. Or not yesterday, but last week. And then if you're doing an invention, yours is very similar. You're going to also talk about your purpose, and then you're also going to talk about who would use your invention. Okay, so let me flip to the invention slide that tells me all those directions. Remember, you guys have this in that science journal. And I will also link this color-coded one to our checklist. Okay, so I'm going to look at the pink highlights again because that's what this slide is focusing on. Okay, so your purpose and user slide will talk about what is the general purpose of your invention and who would use your invention. So what kind of people would use your invention? Is it more geared towards kids? Is it more geared towards the elderly population? So who would typically use your invention? Or maybe it's kids who are interested in sports. So try to be as specific as you can with your users. Okay, it could be musicians, it could be someone in doing a specific hobby, but try to be as specific as you can here. Don't just say it's for people. Okay, like what kind of people is your invention used for, or who would actually use that invention? Okay. This is a great time to develop your idea too. You're going to really think about what you want to invent and come up maybe with a title of what your invention will be called. Maybe you want to create a catchy title for it so people, want to use your invention. Okay. You're also going to state the purpose. So why are you inventing it? Why is it even needed? Okay. So you're thinking about why your invention maybe makes people's lives better or easier or improved some way. Okay. Your invention, though, should have a purpose. Okay. And then again, just make sure that you list specifically who would use your invention. Okay, so your first slide is going to all be the same. It's this topic slide, but your second slide depends on which project you're doing. Okay, so make sure you follow those directions for your second slide. Remember, you don't have to do your second slide today. You can skip and do a different slide if you want. That's totally up to you, but just so you know, I will be giving directions on the slides in order. You do not have to do them in order though. All right, guys, hopefully this helps out. If you want to meet with me on a Google Meet about your topic, if you need some help, let me know. Remember, this project should be mainly on your own. You shouldn't really be asking your parents for a ton of help on this. This is kind of, what you can do by yourself or with your partner who you're working with, okay? So your parents should not really be involved too much with your project, okay? Remember, they are very busy people. So I am looking forward to see what you can do on your own. And I just think you guys have awesome topics and it's going to be a lot of fun. Remember, do not stress out about this. It should be a fun project that you're researching your passion. Okay? All right. I can't wait to see all your wonderful projects.